Hurricane Imelda now stirring up the rough seas along Florida's east coast, forcing cruise lines to adjust itineraries. So far, no cancellations, but some passengers are seeing shorter vacations and switch ports of call. Much different looking day to day than yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you could just tell by the hood up and Leslie's hair blowing around. Our Leslie Hudson is live near Port Canaveral, Florida, with how the cruising industry is being impacted by Imelda and Humberto. Leslie?
Hey, good morning to you, Ari. Definitely windier today. There are a ton more surfers. I'm going to show you that in a second. Over my shoulder on this side, though, is the port. So most of the larger cruise ships have left. Way down there are some, there might be a Disney down there. It's hard to tell from this vantage point. But yeah, there were several cruise lines that had to reroute. In fact, 12 cruise lines actually rerouted their ships because of Imelda and Humberto. Now, we talked about this yesterday. This is the second largest, busiest port in the world. They get 7.5 million cruisers. So anytime there's a tropical system, there is a big logistical headache. So let me show you now over my shoulder. We're on the jetty here. You can see the surfers. There is at least 50, we think, out here, whereas yesterday there was maybe 4 or 5. So the surfers know that it is definitely better surfing conditions out here today, even though Imelda technically a little further away, as Bernie was talking about yesterday, the fact that this is now a hurricane. The swells are definitely higher today. We've noticed that the winds are also higher as well. Here in Brevard County, the surf continues to pound the shore, and we've noticed an appreciable increase in those waves, wind, and squalls that since we've been here on Sunday. Now, cruise passengers sailing from ports up and down Florida are seeing their trips reshaped by Imelda and Humberto. We have some video where we shot at the port yesterday. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Disney have all shifted plans this week. Norwegian's Utopia of the Seas and Carnival's Glory and Disney's Wish ship returned to Port Canaveral several hours earlier yesterday and cut their itineraries just a bit short because of those rough seas.
Sometimes a ship might leave port early. Sometimes it may come back early. Sometimes it may skip a port of call and maybe go to a different location. Perhaps if a storm, for instance, is going to be impacting Turks and Caicos, and instead of maybe going to Grand Turk, they'll instead send the ship to Bimini for that day. But they really just wait and make those decisions as it happens, because they know, as we know, that weather constantly changes. And so they like to try to make those decisions as late as possible.
Imelda's offshore winds mean high surf advisories through Wednesday here in Central Florida, and the swells impacting these ports from Port Canaveral all the way down to Port Miami. Cruise lines say it's about keeping their guests safe, rerouting around the Bahamas and the Bermuda, and shifting stops across the Caribbean. Carnival alone repositioned 8 of their ships just this week. Royal Caribbean delayed inaugural calls to St. Kitts in the Caribbean. Disney canceled their Nassau stops and swapped out extra sea days. So it's not just about the sea, it's also flights, you guys. There's also flights that are being somewhat impacted, especially in South Florida, where there's a lot of folks traveling in and out of those airports to get to the Miami port of call. So there's quite a bit going on. I'm trying not to eat my hair while I talk to you guys. But travelers are being urged to check ahead, of course, to see if there are any delays at the airports here in Florida. That's primarily, at least for today and tomorrow, would be the concern, not any other really airport, but just if you're coming into this state, Orlando, Tampa, Miami, you might experience some of those delays. But the good news is none of the cruise lines that we've been able to find out have not canceled any of their cruises altogether. They're just shifting ports, keeping folks in different locations, or they're keeping them out to sea longer to avoid the rough surf. So all in all, things pretty good here, but definitely noticeably windier and rougher seas as Hurricane Imelda heads out to sea. Reporting live in Port Canaveral, I'm Leslie Hudson. Back to you.